This is a 4-part series on the CAGED system, which is a common way to visualize the fretboard. In this first lesson, I'll show you how you can change an open chord into a movable chord. Before we get into all that, I'm going to very briefly let you know that I teach private guitar lessons online and have several guitar books and solo arrangements available. If you're interested, check out my website, the link's in the description. CAGED is an acronym for your standard C, A, G, E, and D chords. Each of these chords has at least one open string, so we call them open chords. With the CAGED system, you can take any one of these major chords or their minor or 7th chord counterparts and turn them into movable chords. I'm going to show you how to do that with a bunch of C, A, G, and D chords, beginning with C. Here's your standard C chord. To change this to a movable chord, we're going to switch some fingers around. Instead of fingers 1, 2, 3, we're going to use fingers 2, 3, and 4. And then shift those fingers 1 fret higher. First finger goes down on the 1st fret on the 3rd string and also flattens out slightly so that it mutes the 1st string. And now you have a movable chord. This note in red, that's the root of the chord. That is the note you want to focus on when you move these chords around. Right now the root is on the 5th string, 4th fret, which is a C sharp or D flat, depending on what you want to call it. So we just changed this C major chord to a D flat major chord. Move 1 fret higher, the root is on the D note. It's a D major chord. Another fret higher, you're looking at an E flat major chord. The root notes for all the chords in this lesson are mainly on strings 5 and 6, except for the D chords with the root on the 4th string. So to use these chords, you need to know the names of the notes on the fretboard, or at least on strings 4, 5, and 6. If you need help with that, check out some of the fretboard lessons in the description. In the CAGED system, this shape is referred to as the C shape because it comes from the C chord. And that holds true for the rest of these chords. You have your C shapes, A shapes, G shapes, and so forth. Next up, the C7 shape. This one's pretty easy to convert because you don't have to change any fingers. There's only one open string in the C7 chord, this 1st string. If you flatten your fingers out to mute that string, now you have no open strings and you have a movable chord. If you move it so the root is on the F at the 8th fret, you have an F7. Move it 1 fret higher, and you have an F sharp 7. We could get into other chord types like major 7, minor 7, diminished chords, but for this lesson we're sticking with the big 3, major, minor, and 7th chords. So on to the A shapes. There are several ways you could play an open A major, but to turn it into a movable shape, we're going to play those 3 notes all with a 3rd finger barring. Move 1 fret higher. 1st finger goes down on the 5th string, 1st fret, and now it's a movable A shape. You could also bar so that the you get the 1st string as well. I often just play this with the middle 4 strings, but that is an option. Now this is a B flat major that I'm playing because I've taken this A shape, or this A major shape, I've moved it so that the root is on this B flat on the 1st fret of the 5th string. Move it 1 fret higher, we've got a B major. Now here's your A minor. Refinger it, so 1st finger is free. Basically your 1st finger acts as a capo in a lot of these chords. So now we're using fingers 2, 3, 4 instead. 1 fret higher, 1st finger goes down on the 1st fret of the 5th string, and again, you could bar the 1st string as well. I usually just play the middle 4 strings. So now it's a B flat minor because of where I'm placing the root. If I moved it up to the 6th fret on this E flat, now it's an E flat minor. And the A7. Several ways you can play an A7 chord. To change it to a movable chord, use fingers 3 and 4, so your 1st finger is free to act as a capo. 1 fret higher. 1st finger does have to at least bar strings 3 through 5. Again, you could bar the 1st string as well, but that's going to be barring at the 1st fret here. This is a B flat 7 because of where I'm placing the root. Move 1 fret higher, it's a C7, excuse me, 2 frets higher and it's a C7, and 1 fret higher, you got yourself a C sharp 7. And the G shapes, or I should say G shape, because in this set, it's really just the major shape that's practical. G major chord, play your lower notes with fingers 3 and 4, move 1 fret higher. First finger is going to bar strings 2 through 4 at the first fret, and also at the same time, mute the first string. So now my pinky is on this A flat, that's where my root is. It's an A flat major chord. Move 1 fret higher, A major, 1 fret higher, B flat major. These E shapes are very common movable chords. E major, go through the same process, switch out, so first finger is free, use fingers 2, 3, 4 instead. 1 fret higher, first finger bars, all 6 strings this time. And now you have an F major. This is often the first movable chord that people learn. F major, because it's a major shape, our root is on this low F on the first fret of the 6th string, but we can move that around. We can move it up to the 7th fret. Now it's a B major. Down 1 fret, it's a B flat major. E minor, switch to fingers 3 and 4, so first finger is a little freer to act as your moving capo. 1 fret higher, again first finger bars, all 6 strings. Now you have yourself an F minor, move up to the 4th fret, you have yourself a G sharp or A flat minor. And then E7. Play those notes with fingers 2 and 3, 1 fret higher, and then first finger bars. You have yourself an F7 now. We could move it up to the 5th fret. We have an A7, move it to the 7th fret. You've got a B7. I don't use the D shapes very often when I'm playing accompaniments. However, I do use them quite a bit when I'm playing solo guitar arrangements. Out of all these, I would say this D major shape is the least practical just because it involves a lot of stretch. It's hard to grab out of the blue. But just to cover it, we just switch our fingers 2, 3, and 4 instead. 1 fret higher, first finger stretches over to the 4th string, 1st fret. Now you have an E flat major. We're just playing 4 strings. We have an E flat major because the root is on this E flat. 1 fret higher, you have an E major. Like I said, this one's kind of hard to grab just out of the blue. D minor. Going to go through the same process. This one is not quite as tricky as the D major shape, but it is a little tricky, a little stretchy. Fingers 2, 3, and 4. 1 fret higher, first finger goes down. On the 1st fret of the 4th string, you have yourself an E flat minor now, because of where I'm placing the root. If I move it up to the 5th fret, I should say root at the 5th fret on this G, it's a G minor. And the D7, this is the easiest of this little set. Switch to fingers 2, 3, and 4 instead. I use this one a lot in my solo guitar playing. 1 fret higher, first finger goes down on the 1st fret of the 4th string. Now we have an E flat 7. Move it 2 frets higher, you have an F7. Move 2 frets higher again, you've got yourself a G7. We focused on major, minor, and 7th chords in this lesson. The next lesson we're going to expand to other chord types, including major 7, minor 7 flat 5 chords, and a bunch more. When that lesson's ready, I'll post a link at the end of this video. Meanwhile, for more guitar lessons, music theory, and solo guitar arrangements, please subscribe.